thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Now, and we're glad that you joined us. Now, tell us about yourself.
So, originated from Texas, actually born in New York.
Really?
Yeah, I
like
was.
New York City?
White Plains.
White Plains, okay.
Yeah.
And you ended up in Texas?
And I ended up in Texas. My dad was a Bible salesman.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. How interesting.
I think I'm Buddhist now, but whatever. Yeah. That's another story. That's a different thing.
Story, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting, though.
Yeah, so lived in Texas most of my life until we moved here 3 years ago.
Did you guys go to Texas to sell Bibles, or did he?
He did.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. What part of Texas?
That was Big Spring, Texas.
I don't know Texas very well. So
that's all right. It's in the heart. In the middle. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I am watching a new show. This is off topic.
Okay.
It's called Landman.
Yeah,
on the Paramount.
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob.
Yeah, we love
really
Billy Bob.
I like
it is good.
It's good.
It is good.
Okay, so you're from Texas, and you sold real estate there.
Yes, sold for 21 years.
In where?
In Fort Worth, Texas. So,
Okay.
yeah, DFW area.
Okay.
But, yeah, went to school at TCU, Texas Christian University, studied radio, television, film.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Thought I wanted to go into hotel management.
Okay.
And did great in all my classes till I got to statistics, and that kicked my butt.
Yeah, not a math person.
I am a math person. I actually excel in trig and calculus, but statistics was horrible. It was my first C and then a D.
Oh, really?
And so I jumped out of hotel management and got
business
into
college.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got a finance degree, so I know those courses are hard. Very difficult.
Hard, and my teachers were foreign in that, and I couldn't understand them.
Oh.
That it's my excuse. Yeah, because otherwise I was doing great. But I jumped majors because my college roommate was taking a radio, television, film class, and she always came into the dorm, and she's like, "Tonight we studied that the screen's divided into thirds, and the sunset's usually in the bottom third, and we watched all these cool movies." Like, why am I need to change my major.
Oh, really?
You were having way more fun than me.
A lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Well, you can help us around here with this thing.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, like I said, that was a couple of years ago. So.
How did you get into real estate?
I got into real estate. My mother bugged me to death because she was a realtor back in the 80s. Oh. And she also was a psychologist, but she did real estate on the side.
Well, our job is pretty much like a psychiatrist.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she always said that I would be really good at it.
Yeah.
And I ignored her until I had my daughter, and I was looking for something different to do. And I thought, I'll get my license and I'll try it. I had been in health and fitness for years before that, like 20 years, and still participate in health and fitness. I've been a personal trainer and a bunch of other things. That's also another side conversation.
So you're busy.
I'm a busybody. No, I'm a type AA. I'm a type AA that actually meditates. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you pick that up because you became a Buddhist?
Yes. Well, partially, yes.
Yes,
with yoga. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sold in Texas for quite a long time.
I did.
And what brought you to Florida?
My husband brought me to Florida. He had an itch to live.
Did you want to come?
I wanted him to be happy.
Okay.
And he really wanted to live near the ocean. Okay. And we were empty nesters. There was no reason really that I could see not to move, other than I had a thriving staging business and a thriving real estate business. But it was during COVID. And so things were a little up in the air.
So it was probably the best time you could ever move.
I feel like it was.
Now, is your husband a cowboy?
He's not.
Is he really a cowboy?
No, but he is a born and bred Texan.
Is he?
And he is a Marine.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
So, so then COVID brought you, many reasons brought you to Florida, and now you're selling here.
Yes.
How's it going?
Good.
Good?
Yes. Yeah. I love being with Corcoran. I love this company. I love this brand.
Good.
I had read her book when it came out, and she really was an inspiration to me as a female entrepreneur, just as an entrepreneur and as a self-starter, as a go-getter.
She's got a great story.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you. So tell us, what's your Do you have a niche? Are you selling everywhere? Are you selling anywhere? Where are you selling?
So I'm selling in Sarasota and Bradenton. I really like to stay within, that area.
There's plenty of business in both those areas.
There's plenty, yes. And I love modern architecture. I love warm modern specifically, meaning I like modern style homes that have some texture and have some reflection of nature in them.
So I built a house 5 years ago, and I like the modern, and I like the modern style, and I made the mistake of not getting an architect. Because it's a long story, but anyway. So there's so when you said you like warm modern, so that means like comfortable, not stale, not stark.
Not stark. So I'm not a bling girl. Yeah. You're not going to see me with a sparkly shirt or yeah.
But you like simplicity in the style. I think that's why people like modern. But you also like a little. It has to feel like home.
Yeah.
So am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's my understanding of warm modern is you might see in a warm modern home versus kind of a stark contemporary home might be whites and grays and marble floors and slick hard textures.
Sure.
And a warm modern home is going to have more natural, bark-like textures, more fabric, more colors and prints, but in a simple way, not too busy.
Is it more like a coastal contemporary? Is
Yeah,
that a better
very
way?
similar. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I like both, all of it, and they're building a lot of modern around here. Like you go back 10 years, 15 years, and there weren't that many modern homes. I mean, we just built Spanish Med, like right? And I like to see the diversity and the change, but now we're building a lot of modern.
Right.
You're seeing a lot of that.
Well, there's a lot of white boxes. I'm not a big fan of just a box.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, don't say a particular builder or anything.
Okay, no. Yeah, we know, but yeah, no. Here's something interesting: tying white boxes and shapes in together. So during COVID, right before COVID, a lot of the color palette was white and gray.
Yeah.
And they were opening walls for 5-10 years before that. Right there, all these open spaces were popular.
Yeah.
Well, some things that we have found out psychologically from the design point of view is not everybody loves the open spaces entirely, because it doesn't give us a space as humans to kind of have some privacy and some separation.
Yeah.
And all of the white and all of the boxes are harsh, and we needed more nurturing after COVID.
Okay.
And one of the design styles because I go to market, I have access to High Point Market in North Carolina. And so I'll go to that market, and I'll go to Las Vegas Market. And what showed up after the pandemic, and what's still popular now, is curves. Curved sofas, curved ottomans, more curvature, coming into design as softness.
It reminds me, I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay.
I bought a curved couch about 5 years ago.
Okay.
I hated it because I couldn't sleep on it. I couldn't nap.
Oh, no, right?
I was in a contorted way.
In a spoon, yeah.
I said about it, a different couch. But, so there's lots of whites.
Uh-huh.
I have white tile floors.
There's a lot of white and coastal here.
And the big white, and it is impossible to keep clean.
Yeah.
I have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
I regret getting the white. I'll be honest
Okay.
with you. I love it. It's gorgeous when it's clean.
Yes.
But it's just barely clean.
It's hard to maintain.
It's hard to maintain.
Yes.
It's hard to maintain.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So you remodel stuff and you stage.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if my husband listens to this, which he does, he'll say, "Oh no, she doesn't remodel."
He remodels.
I do. Yeah. She gets ideas, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
So no, we remodeled our house that we bought. We gutted it. And did not all. I do have white. I have Storybook white. That's the name of the white walls. But we did a pecan floor, which is just kind of a warm, floor, and it's really nice. So no, I'm interested in, and I have been helping people remodel, but I'm not don't do the GC stuff. Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And now,
I can help them pick everything.
Now staging. You're big. And I think staging is super important when you're trying to sell a house.
Yes.
Because a lot of buyers don't have vision. they can't see it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you take them in this place and it's either vacant or it's a piece of crap, and they say, hey, this could be nice. A lot of them can't do that. So
No.
when you're selling property, you highly suggest staging or virtual staging?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So in Texas, while I had my real estate license for 21 years, 11 years of that, I owned a staging company.
Okay.
And it was called Modern Design Staging. It's still running now. I sold it to a friend of mine. She's kind of taken it in a whole new direction. But yeah, we could stage, we did 35 to 40 homes at a time as far as the volume of furniture that we had. Mostly those were vacant homes.
It's a lot of furniture.
It was a lot of furniture.
40 houses?
Yeah, it was
That's
very
a lot.
fun to buy.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
stage you wouldn't stage every bit of the house, would you? Just
No,
the main areas.
we would, unless they wanted to pay for it, we would. But really, we would stage just the key rooms.
Okay.
But I also did what's called occupied staging consults. So I would go into occupied homes that had their own things and say, here's the best way to arrange
Rearrange
this.
things.
And that's one thing coming to Florida that I really see lacking is agents either aren't telling people that, or they're afraid to tell people that, or they just don't know because they're not doing it.
It's probably a combination of all of that. I think they don't know. They're afraid because some people are very passionate about their place.
Yeah, right.
And they like it and they think it's great, and
Yeah,
a lot of times it's not.
Yeah.
Or it's not conducive for selling.
right.
Or, they're scared. And I get it. I
Yeah.
totally understand it because sometimes it's hard for me to go into somewhere and say, okay, do this.
Yeah.
Because I'll either offend
You don't
them,
offend them, right?
or like, and then,
Yeah.
then you're in trouble.
Right, right. But the huge, so two things that I would tell people in occupied consults, which were not my favorite things to do, but I can do it in my sleep. When I would come in, and usually I would come in not as the agent, I would come in as a stager.
Yeah.
And so the agent actually hired me,
It's better to have a third party say
Oh.
it than the agent say it.
because then they weren't the ones
They
that had
weren't
to
the
tell
bad
them.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I would tell them, you're probably not going to like this at all.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing personal. It's not about, I know you spent, $3,600 for that valance above your kitchen window, but it's hiding the light. And it's your specific taste.
Yeah.
So we need to take it down for those two reasons.
Yeah.
So I'd try to get my best customers were people that understood that it was nothing personal, that I was on team sell, we're on
Yeah.
team sell to try to get you to sell for the
Because
most
if
and the
If you're trying to
fastest.
sell your house, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You can't take it personal.
No, yeah. And you need good photos. So
Yeah.
that's the big difference that I see here. I'll
Yeah.
see $2 and $3 million houses on the market here that they didn't pay for decent photos, or they did.
They use the phone.
Yeah, they use a phone, but more often than that, I'll see some professional photos done, and the agent somebody didn't walk through ahead of time and tell them to
Clean
put the
up the
toothbrush
kitchen.
up. Yeah, exactly.
Clean
Yeah.
up the bathroom. That's a vivid.
Hide the cat litter box.
I
All
always
those.
get frustrated when I see these. I'm like, you could have spent 5 minutes just cleaning, get the stuff off the counter.
Yeah, yeah,
You see that a lot.
yeah,
See that quite a bit.
yeah. And it does make a difference.
It makes a huge difference.
It affects our perception of value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with so many, we have a lot more listings now. We're fighting for showings.
Exactly.
So the ones that look good in photos they're going to probably get the showing, assuming
Right.
everything else is in line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So, I do have a question about the modern stuff because you touched on this briefly. So, there was a trend there for a while, like great rooms, getting rid of walls, stuff like that. So, what do you
Right.
see happening now?
I think, and from what I see from some of the builders that I've visited their model homes, I think they're starting to incorporate more private spaces
Yeah.
and putting, walls up in specifically between the kitchen and the living areas,
Yeah.
just to give people some more private
Yeah.
space and not to have the noise of the TV if it's on.
Do you think
through the
that
whole-
was that became popular because for affordability reasons? Like, okay, so you only have so much space to work with, okay? And it's like if you only have, say, 2,000 square feet, you start chopping it up, it doesn't look good, right?
Right.
If it's small.
Right.
So
Right. True.
that concept works really well if you've got 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square feet. But if you have a limited, if you have 1,500 square feet or 2,000 square feet,
Right.
you almost have to open it up, right?
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's
Yeah,
why
it could
great
be.
rooms became so popular.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're going to make this house a little bit smaller, but for it to not feel so jam tight,
Yeah.
we open the stuff up. And,
Yeah.
you know, I see both arguments. Like, some people want to open it up. They want that big open feeling. And then other people are like, I need to get away. I need my own space. It's nice to have some separation.
Yeah.
Because let's say you go to, like, and I'm spitballing here, you go to, like, the Hamptons or one of these, you know, very expensive, wealthy areas, maybe Palm Beach or something like that. You probably see, and I'm talking big properties, you probably see a lot of different rooms. It's not a 20,000 square foot great room plan.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No.
And because they have the space to put the walls up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say too, the other thing that came to mind when you're talking about opening everything up, the thing that we ran into as a staging company is when there were vacant homes, usually we worked with a lot of flips in Texas. There seemed to be more flipping going on than here. People couldn't figure out what to do with the space when it was open.
When it was open.
They didn't know, like, where does the dining table go? Where does the sofa go?
That's a good point.
They were
because
confused.
I've seen that before. I've seen models. I've seen floor plans where it's a big open space, and you're like, okay, the living area is here, the dining room's here, but I got this huge area over here, and I have nothing to do with it.
Right.
And then it just fill it with crap, just to
Ping pong
put
table.
something there.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, it's a bad design.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It's just a bad design because it's like I have to create this fictitious, like, area to live in I'm never going to use, and I got to put furniture there.
Yeah.
Just because it's there.
Yeah.
You know? And I think
Yeah.
it's poor design, probably poor architecture, poor floor
I think
plan.
it gives people too many choices, and that's what I would see too as a stager and as a designer and I would hear sellers, I hear sellers say this here too, like, let's say something needs updates and a seller says, I'm thinking of one of my older neighbors in particular, he's like, well, if I put my home on the market, I'm not gonna paint it, you know, neutral colors, because I don't know what color that somebody wants, and they can just do it themselves. And I said, well, there's two problems there. There's three. One is you're making them decide, and that is not as big of an asset as what people think it used to be, because people are busy. We're busier than we used to be. So now they've got to find somebody to paint it.
Yeah.
And we all know if you're painting the entire interior of your house, you've got to cover up furniture. It's a big pain.
Yeah.
And it really is better to go ahead and decide for people. And so as a staging company, we'd come in, and if the flipper said, I'm not sure about, you know, what's trending, then I would give them some paint colors. I said, go ahead and do it, even if it's a commitment one way or the other, but it's finished.
Yeah.
And then we'll lay all the furniture out. And if there's, well, what if somebody wants a dining table over here, but you put it over here? I said, they can move it with their head. They do.
Yeah.
They'll come in and look at it, and they'll think it or say it out loud. I would never put the dining table here, I'd put it here. But until I have it in one place, they don't even know where they would move it to or what fits.
Yeah.
So it's go ahead and make the decisions for them.
Yeah.
And then they can change it later.
I think that you're right. I think there's a lot of people that just want someone to make the decision for them. And that, you know, it's kind of our job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I see a big difference between houses that have that touch, that staging or rearrangement of furniture, whatever, a difference in the time it takes to sell and the sales price.
Yeah.
It
Oh, yeah.
does matter.
Yeah.
You know, I think that sometimes they don't believe us, you know.
I know.
But it does make a difference, and it's probably the sales price and how quickly it sells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's just a lot of people that, you're right, don't want to make that decision. You make it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they can change it later. They really can. You know, the things that are hard to change are, you know, flooring. Flooring's hard, but a backsplash on a counter is not hard. Paint really isn't that hard. You know, that's something pretty easy.
And it's easy, it's cheap, and it makes a huge impact right away. So what are your thoughts on virtual staging?
So I see a lot of virtual staging here. So here's the thing. Here's some big don'ts on virtual that I'm seeing, and I saw it in Texas too. So first of all, people choose virtual staging because it is cheaper, and now with the advent of AI and ChatGPT, it's really cheaper. But you can do yourself a big disservice. So the disservices come from things being out of scale, say,
Yeah.
you've got as you can tell it sometimes, but you don't know exactly what it is. But like I'll see a dining room and the table is just a little bit too tall,
Right.
and you can see it in relation to like the counter. It's just because they've scaled it a little bit
Yeah.
wrong. The chairs
Yeah.
are too big. Well, that shrank your dining area.
Yeah.
Plus, it just looks weird.
Is that just a bad virtual stager?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that may be somebody a DIY.
Yeah.
And that because they're nice virtual staging companies
Yeah.
that cost more. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You
that's
get what
like
you pay
everything
for.
in life, right? So you're not against virtual staging.
No.
You
I think there's a
real
place for it.
staging's better, obviously.
I think real is better, and I can
But it's
tell
also
you
quite a
why.
bit more expensive.
It is quite a bit more, but it's so two paths.
Yeah.
So in Texas, when we had my company, we charged about 1% of list price. So let's do a $500,000 home. We'd be $5,000 for the key areas, for one or two living areas, the primary bedroom, the bathrooms, the kitchen, maybe a study. Typically, the seller would get back 10%. So 1% for 10%
sure,
all day.
Sure.
And the benefit of having the real staging in there is that when people come to see it, they're not disappointed, which that happens with virtual.
It does.
People
Yeah.
come in and go, well,
Seen
did
it, yeah.
somebody move
Does it
out?
look like this? in the
Exactly.
photos?
Yeah. So when things are not there in place, there's echoes that are created because you have softness to, rugs and pillows and sofas that take echoes out and just make the room feel better.
Right.
And I've seen some listing agents like put like a storyboard up, and so,
I've seen that, yeah.
that's better than nothing,
Sure.
but it's not the same as the furniture actually being there.
If you have really bad furniture, let's just say,
Mm-hmm.
and it just looks horrible, don't you recommend virtual staging?
Oh,
And they don't have the budget for
yeah, for
real
sure.
staging.
Take it out.
Definitely.
Yeah,
do virtual
don't
staging,
photograph with it.
But
Yeah.
just have someone good do it.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously real staging is better, but a lot of people have very old furniture. So virtual
A
staging.
lot around here. Yeah.
Virtual staging actually can be good. I mean,
But see, here's the other thing that I see people do. I saw in Texas and in Florida. They will do, so let's say you've got a vacant house, and they'll put the staged picture, the virtually staged picture, and then they'll follow it. Let's go with the living room. Virtual staging of the living room, and then the vacant. And they'll do that with every single room. Virtual staging with the dining room, and then the vacant picture. And I know what the thinking is we want to show people both. For whatever reason, that is a gigantic turnoff. I saw it for 11 years in Texas when listings did that, not just mine, but anybody's, and they did those two swap of the pictures. Things sat on the market forever.
so you recommend just show the virtual photos, not the vacant ones.
Don't show, or medium case, if you feel like you must show the vacant, put all those together at the end
Very good.
and put your virtual all together at the front, because you're telling a story.
Sure.
And I think you break the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
is it, especially if they didn't know it was virtual, I know we have to
Well,
say at the
intermissions
bottom.
there because
It's
you
a
know,
lot.
telling a story, not telling a story.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it seems kind of sad, I guess.
Yeah.
Sad story.
Yeah.
There was a happy family, and here they're gone. I don't know what it is, but there's something psychological that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've not heard anybody else comment on that,
never
but
thought
that's
about
something
that.
I've seen for
Yeah.
years.
I never see. I don't know. I don't like it, and I don't know why. You know?
But bring it all together. Put the story of the staging together, then put the sad empty family together, if you must. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is helpful. So to your point, you had said earlier, people can't envision it. So the stats are 8 out of 10 people have to see it. 8 out of 10
Yeah.
of us are visual. We have to see it.
In
and
person or on photos or both?
Either one.
Either one.
Either
Okay.
one. Either one. Yeah, but it's got to be shown to you what that looks like before you. I can't tell you. Like, I'm the person you can tell it to me, and I've got it. I've got the picture in my head. But that's why I do what I do.
But that's.
But
you have
that's
that
not
talent.
normal. Yeah, that's
yeah.
not average. Average is people need it laid out, and then they go, okay. Then they can change it in their head and go, I don't like that. I would have done a different
Yeah.
backsplash, whatever. You
Yeah.
know, but they need to see it first.
I've seen a lot of people like yourself become very successful agents, probably because they have that talent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can just, you can paint that picture for your client.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
they like
I can
that.
walk into something full of ugly furniture, terrible paint colors,
Yeah.
my house, before we bought it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this is fantastic. I saw the 12-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
You know, I saw the natural light, and I thought, those bones, I know what that can be remodeled.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. No.
Yeah.
What, should we end it? Should we keep going? What else do you want?